8th graders. We're going through Module 4, problem set for Lesson 11 today. We're going to be talking about constant rate and writing equations with two variables in terms of constant rate. Let's look at number 1. A train travels at a constant rate of 45 miles per 1 hour. Remember, it is going to be distance over time. So it's going to be 45 miles over 1 hour, or we can write that just as 45. Okay. So what is the distance in miles that the train travels in t hours? So the distance is going to be 45 times t, the number of hours we drive. If we drive 1 hour at 45 miles an hour, we're going to go 45. If we drive 2 hours at 45 miles each hour, we're going to go 90. So this is our equation for A. B, how many miles will it travel in 2.5 hours? So instead of using t, we're going to use 2.5. So our distance is going to equal 45 times the 2.5. We can go to our calculator here. 45 times 2.5, and we're going to get 112.5 miles. 112.5 miles. For number 2, the water is leaking at a constant rate of 1/3 of a gallon per minute. 1/3 of a gallon per minute. Well, we would write that. They want to know how much water in gallons is leaked for t minutes, right? So our water is going to be 1/3 of a gallon for every minute. Water is going to be 1/3 for every minute. So this is A. So how much water is leaked in an hour? Well, notice that this time is in terms of minutes. So think of an hour. How many minutes are in an hour? An hour is the same as 60 minutes. So we're going to have to put in for t, we're going to have to put in 60 because we want it in terms of minutes. So our W is going to equal 1/3 times 60. If you remember how to multiply fractions, make that a 1, 60 over 1. So W is going to equal 60 over 3 times 1 is 3. So it's going to be 20 gallons. Okay. Number 3. A car can be assembled on the assembly line in 6 hours. So we get 1 car for 6 hours. 1 car for 6 hours. So a car, 1 car in 6 hours. So it'd be 1/6 of a car. Okay. So how many cars can be made in t hours, right? So y is going to equal 1/6 because we get 1/6 of a car every hour, right? If it takes 6 hours, each hour is 1/6 of a car. So how many are in a week? Well, we need to know how many hours are in a week because this is in terms of hours. There's 7 days in a week, 24 hours in a day. So we'd have to go 7 days a week times 24 hours each day. So we have 168 hours. A week is 168 hours, right? So we're going to go, how many cars can we get in 168? We're going to put that over 1. So we're going to get 168 divided by 6. So let's come over here. 168 divided by 6. and we're going to be able to make 28 cars in a week. For number 4, a copy machine makes copies at a constant rate. It makes 80 copies in 2.5 minutes. So, how many copies per minute? I'm going to come down here. I want copies per minute. 80 copies in 2.5 minutes. I'm going to do that as 2.5 so it's easier to use the calculator. I'm going to divide this out. 80 divided by 2.5, that would give us our unit rate or our constant rate. 80 divided by 2.5, and that's going to be 32. So it's going to be 32 copies per 1 minute. 32 copies a minute. So our equation is going to be the number of copies n. N is going to be 32 per minute. So we take 32 and multiply it by the number of minutes. Here, if we have no minutes, well, that makes sense. If we have no minutes, then there's going to be no copies, right? And that would be n equals 32 times 0. 0.25. So we get n equals 32 times 0.25. We can use our calculator. 32 times 0.25, and that's going to be 8. So in 0.25 of a minute, you'll get 8 copies. What about in half a minute? Well, what's 32 times 0.5? That means 32 times half. What's half of 32? 16. If n is 0.75 minutes, then it'd be 32 times 0.75. If you want, you can use your calculator. It should be 24. And what if it was 1 minute? N would equal 32 times 1, and that would be 32 copies. Have a good day.